While the broader benchmark indices undergo severe macro consolidation, an invisible liquidity wave has quietly lifted a basket of microcap entities by over 1100% in under 12 months. The common denominator among these explosive movers is simple on the surface: they trade under 10 rupees, and they report virtually zero debt. But as institutional allocators, we must ask if this run is backed by genuine structural turnaround, or if it is merely the ultimate retail liquidity illusion playing out in the dark corners of the market. To understand these microcap runs, we must dissect their underlying business models. Take Standard Industries Limited, once a traditional textile operator that has transitioned into property management and trading activities. Or Vikas Ecotech, a company operating in specialty chemical compounds and recycled materials. Historically, these businesses lacked scale and struggled with low capacity utilization. By shading debt, they have cleaned up their balance sheets, presenting a highly attractive surface-level profile to quantitative retail stock screens. But that is only part of the story. The core value proposition of these sub-10 rupee companies often relies on undervalued legacy assets rather than recurring operating cash flows. In the case of Indian Infotech and Software, the business model acts as a non-banking financial company, yet its actual market penetration remains marginal. When a company's market capitalization is extremely small, its asset base is highly vulnerable to economic cycles, making its core moat far more fragile than its debt-free status suggests. Here's where the financial metrics become interesting. When we analyze the quarterly statements of Vikas Ecotech, we see revenue spikes that appear massive on a percentage basis. However, because the baseline revenue is incredibly low, even a minor trade contract can create a massive distortion in quarterly performance. This low base effect often tricks algorithms and retail screeners into signaling a massive fundamental breakout, when in reality, the absolute top-line expansion remains structurally insignificant. Now look at how the operating margins are reacting. Standard Industries has historically reported highly volatile operating profits due to the lumpy nature of its real estate trading revenues. While being debt-free removes interest obligations from the profit and loss statement, it does not prevent severe operating margin compression when raw material costs rise or trading volumes dry up. For most of these penny stocks, net profit margins remain razor-thin, leaving zero margin for operational error. The next signal comes from management's capital allocation. Many microcaps announce debt-free status not because of massive organic cash generation, but through equity dilution. By repeatedly issuing preferential shares or warrants, management teams like those at Vikas Ecotech have raised equity capital to pay down bank loans. While this technically eliminates interest expenses, it severely dilutes minority shareholders, permanently capping the earnings per share potential of the company. Something important is happening here. When we look at management commentary across the microcap space, there is a recurring trend of pivoting toward highly popular, high-multiple sectors. Companies like Indian Infotech and Software frequently realign their corporate guidance to focus on digital transformations or fintech integrations. These announcements generate massive retail sentiment and speculative momentum, but historical execution tracking shows a large gap between corporate announcements and actual bottom-line contribution. That leads us to a bigger question regarding the broader industry macro environment. Over the past year, the Indian domestic market has witnessed an unprecedented surge in new retail demat accounts. This massive wave of retail capital has created a structural liquidity shift. Stuck with limited capital, millions of new investors bypass high-priced blue-chip equities to hunt for sub-10 rupee counters, creating an artificial demand squeeze in stocks with small public floats. This structural momentum operates completely independent of institutional money. Major domestic mutual funds and foreign portfolio managers are structurally restricted from investing in these microcaps due to strict market capitalization and liquidity thresholds. Consequently, these penny stocks exist in a parallel ecosystem, unmonitored by institutional analysts and driven entirely by algorithmic trading desks, social media channels, and speculative retail momentum. This brings us to the core terminal risks of the microcap space. The market appears to be pricing these assets as if they can be liquidated easily at any time. But when sentiment turns, these low-float stocks face severe circuit filter restrictions. In a market downturn, buy orders vanish entirely, locking investors into consecutive lower circuits with zero exit liquidity. This liquidity trap can erase 12 months of gains in just a few trading sessions. Beyond liquidity, regulatory risk remains a major headwind. The exchange surveillance frameworks, such as the graded surveillance measure and additional surveillance measure, regularly catch high-flying penny stocks. Once a stock like Indian Infotech or Vikas Ecotech is placed under these restrictive surveillance lists, leverage is banned, transaction margins are hiked, and trading volume instantly collapses, killing the momentum stoned. Looking forward, we must conduct a cold valuation reassessment. When a microcap stock price rallies by over 1000%, its price-to-earnings multiplier often expands to triple digits, despite flat or declining cash flows. Standard industries, for instance, cannot sustain high valuations solely on real estate reassessments. Without structural core operating earnings growth, these high multiples represent massive valuation extensions that are unsustainable over a multi-year horizon. For any genuine turnaround to occur, we must track real, non-dilutive capital expenditure. If Vikas Ecotech can translate its debt reduction into positive, sustainable free cash flow from its specialty chemicals segment, it could eventually build structural momentum. But until we see consistent quarter-on-quarter growth in absolute operational profits, the burden of proof remains firmly on management to show they are not just riding a speculative wave. From a portfolio management perspective, our tactical assessment is clear. We are placing this entire basket of sub-10 rupee microcaps on a strict trim consideration. The massive divergence between asset valuation and real operating earnings makes holding high weightings in these names highly dangerous. We would only transition a name to a selective breakout watch if it demonstrates a verified, multi-quarter expansion of organic operating margins alongside rising promoter equity stakes. Navigating the microcap space requires extreme discipline. Debt-free status is a valuable baseline, but without operating cash flow, it is a hollow shield. To protect your capital from the next liquidity drain, keep your focus on institutional-grade metrics. For deeper macroeconomic insights and rigorous equity research that shields your portfolio, subscribe to SR Money News IN, share your thoughts on these microcap valuations in the comments below, and we will see you in the next analysis.